Hey guys, I wanted to put a review up for a movie I just checked out, highly anticipated. For me, that's the new Puppet Master. The first one not done by Full Moon. This one's done by RLJE Films and Cinestate, and they had put out. I think they put out Bone Tomahawk. I could be wrong on that, but as far as I know, they put that out, and they put out Cell Block or Riot and Cell Block or Brawl and Cell Block 99, which was a really solid film, one of Vince Vaughn's best. But I was really hyped for this. The past month I watched all the Puppet Masters, and I started to get a little burnout, especially towards that Axis trilogy. It was really getting really bad. So I was kind of leery going into this when I popped it in last night. But I was still kind of excited just because it was new. But I gotta say, off the bat, this movie blew me away. This movie blew my mind how good it was. It opens up in 1989, so they do away with the whole Toulon backstory from Full Moon franchise, and Udo Kier plays Andre Toulon, and he gives a really good performance at it. I mean, the makeup looks pretty decent, but it adds like a little creepiness to it. It takes it dead serious. But it has some really eerie kind of stuff to it. They made Toulon actually kind of creepy, which I liked a lot. And then it switches to today's time, and Thomas Lennon from Reno 911, and he's always a comedian. He ends up, he's getting a divorce, and he owns a comic shop, and he's trying to get money, and his dead brother had the Blade puppet here, and there's like a convention going on where they could sell the puppets that Toulon made and all that, because it's like the 30th anniversary or 40th anniversary after the death of Toulon, and so that's the general plot, and they end up going to this hotel where the convention's taking place. And I really like the way they did it. It kind of had homage to the first Puppet Master by taking place in a hotel. And it kind of made a whole lot of sense because that's like the big rage now is conventions. So everyone pretty much knows about the hotels and conventions and how that works. So it's a really realistic plot and a good take on it. And yeah, they end up going on this tour, this Toulon tour, the mansion where Barbara Crampton, who on a side note is super sexy in this movie. She looks amazing. I don't know how old she is, but she looks amazing. And she gives a really badass performance. I mean, she has some lines that are actually really funny. Like there's a whole back and forth with this dude. Like when she's given the tour, the dude keeps raising his hand, and she answers his questions before he even asks them. And it's like it was like a running gag throughout the tour, and it was really funny. It had me laughing. And then, come to find out the puppets are stolen while they're on the tour, and that's the rest of the movie is basically these puppets dispatching all the convention goers. And I gotta say, this is the goriest movie I've seen this year. I was been even watching the American Guinea Pig films. This movie had more like intense gore to me than like the American Guinea Pig films or anything on Earth put out or whatever. I was just blown away at how gory this movie was. There were some really mean-spirited kills that I loved. One involving a pregnant woman with like this Jewish old man puppet that's brand new to this movie, and he looks eerie. He's badass. I'd love to see more of that puppet in particular in a sequel, which I'll get to in a second as far as sequel stuff goes. But yeah, I really dug that puppet. There's another new puppet where it's like a gas tank type thing that's really bizarre but cool. Happy Amphibian. He has short screen time, but he's pretty cool. And as far as another one, I think there was like another, like it looked like a praying mantis or a grasshopper or something. There was one like that, and then there was the best puppet they introduced. Had short time, and it was super bizarre. But one called the Junior Fuhrer, and if you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's super funny, and even the way he says Junior Fuhrer. So there's that, and they have the old puppets. Well, not all of them, but they have Blade, multiple versions of Blade. They have, what the hell is it? Pinhead, who there's a really couple badass scenes involving Pinhead, where it really shows you his strength, and it's super gory, super badass. Tunneler obviously returns, and there's another puppet that returns in all this from the Torch, yeah. his new look is badass. He does some badass kills. He burns some people, of course, and it's the most intense gory burn in any of the Puppet Master stuff or anything. So I was really happy and pleased with how all that went, and I dig the new looks of all the puppets. I think like there's a scene in particular where Blade is in the shadows near this fence, and he's in the darkness, and he looks kind of eerie. It was really badass. You know, the acting was good all around. Like I said, the majority of the jokes really hit. Like, you could tell this was written and made by actual horror fans. They get nerd culture. They get horror. You know what I mean? It's there's even some grindcore metal jokes and stuff in it. It's just a really entertaining. I had a blast with it. And that's crazy for me to say just because I was getting really burnt out by Puppet Master watching all the previous ones. And I thought for sure it was going to affect my view on this, just because I'd watched so many recently. But yeah, I love this movie. If it wasn't for Hereditary, this would be my top of the year so far for sure. I just can't feel good about saying this movie's better than Hereditary because I loved Hereditary with a passion. That's still my number one just because that movie fit my horror love perfectly, but this is just a blast. I love this. This is tied with Hereditary as far as I'm concerned. This is a must buy. It's $15 at Wally World, brand new, so you got to pick it up. I mean, if you're a horror fan, you like slashers or you like fun, entertaining 80s style movies, you definitely want to pick this up. Yeah, I loved it. And as far as the Blu-ray goes, it looked amazing. No complaints as far as any of that goes. Blacks were good, colors were good, everything was good. There is a 4K version of this out, surprisingly. And in December, I am going to get a 4K TV. I'm going to make that jump finally. So I will be reviewing more 4K movies on my channel, but I am going to pick this up in 4K as one of my first movies when I do get the 4K TV. Guaranteed. Yeah, I loved it, and I think everyone should pick it up. Even if you're not a fan of the original Puppet Masters, still pick it up. Just for the gore scenes alone. They go as, I'm not going to say how or whatever, I'll say this. It has one of the best kid death scenes of all time. You know, it was just super funny, and they go as far to kill a bunch. Like, you know, there's a lot of stuff where you're shocked at how far they went. It's a hard R for sure. Or I don't even know if this is R. I don't see any rating, so it's not rated. Yeah, it's definitely beyond R. Yeah, I give it my highest recommendation. And as far as special features go, I did watch all of them. They're all really short, so it's easy to watch them all in one little sitting. The cast of Puppet Master, it's like a little 6-minute, 7-minute thing of all the cast members talking about it. Puppets from concept to creation, it was like 2 minutes, and it's basically telling you, like, it's just the sketches to the real life puppets. How that all came to be, and the comic that Thomas Lennon makes in the movie shows how that whole comic came to be from sketch to final. And there's like a 8-minute behind the scenes and a photo gallery which has some photos of the puppets and stuff. But yeah, it's a really solid release. $15, really well spent. Second favorite movie of the year. No complaints with it whatsoever. It was a breeze. You know, I can't rave about it enough. I literally have nothing bad to say about the movie at all, which is shocking because it's a Puppet Master movie. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. You know, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.